So now I'm going to start questions 11 through 15. On this example, we're going to find the unknown number in the proportion. 14 over 21 is 6 over x. One of the strategies for solving proportion is something called cross multiplication. With cross multiplication, you multiply the numerator of one fraction times the denominator of the other. This is really just a shortcut for solving equations. So if we use cross multiplication, we'll get 14x equals 6 times 21. That's 14x equals 6 times 21. That's 126. Then we want to solve for x by dividing by 14 on both sides. We have 126 over 14. These are both even numbers. So I know there's a common factor of 2. And I can also see this is 21. 126 is 21 times 6. And I know that 21 has a factor of 7, and I know that 14 has a factor of 7. So I think this is going to divide evenly. 126 divided by 14 is 9. So the missing number in the proportion is 9. In this example, we're given an equation with multiple variables, 3k plus 3z equals p minus 5, and we want to solve for the variable k. And when we solve for that variable, we want to rewrite the equation so that it's k equals, and everything else, all the other terms and factors are on the other side of the equation. So this is our variable that we'd like to solve for. And we need to move the term 3z to the other side of the equation and the factor 3 to the other side of the equation. We're going to use reverse order of operations. So this term that's added we'll get rid of first. So we'll subtract 3z on both sides. And that gives 3k equals p minus 5 minus 3z. The terms that we see on the right-hand side are p, 5, and negative 3z. These are not like terms. Like terms should have the same variable. So because none of them are like terms, we cannot consolidate these terms and actually perform this subtraction. So we want to continue isolating the k on one side of the equation. So we need to get this factor of 3 to the other side. This is 3k, 3 times k, and the opposite operation, multiplication, is division. So we'll divide by 3. So this gives k equals p minus 5 minus 3z over 3. And this is our answer. We have solved for k. In this example, we want to solve the formula for the variable b. We have the formula y equals 3 times 7a plus 3b. So this is the b that we're trying to solve for, and you can see that this b is inside of the equation, inside of the parenthesis. So in order for us to solve for b, we need to remove the parentheses with the distributive property first. So we're going to distribute that 3, and this gives y equals 21a minus 9b. And now that the parentheses are gone, we can start to isolate that variable b. First, we'll subtract 21a That's y minus 21a equals 9b. And then we'll divide by 9 to get b equals y minus 21a over 9. So we have solved the formula for b. I'm going to show you one more alternative that will also work. So let's rewrite the equation. Y equals 3 times 7a plus 3b. And the first time we removed the parentheses with the distributive property. This time I'll remove the parentheses by dividing by 3 on both sides. This is multiplication by 3. I'm doing the opposite operation, which is dividing by 3. That's y over 3 equals 7a plus 3 times b. And so you can see that I've removed the parentheses because the multiplication is gone and there's no need for the parentheses anymore once the multiplication is gone. So now I'll isolate that b by subtracting 7a on both sides. That gives y over 3 minus 7a equals 3b. And then I'll divide both sides by 3. This gives b equals y over 3 minus 7a over 3. Now this expression is equivalent to this expression here, but you can see it just looks a little bit more complicated because we have a fraction within a fraction. Later in the semester, we'll talk about strategies for simplifying expressions like this. In this example, we want to solve the word problem. If Alma walks 2 miles in 70 minutes, then Alma will walk how far in 110 minutes if she walks at the same speed the whole time? Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a mile. This is an example where we want to set up a proportion. We have 2 miles in 70 minutes. I'm going to put this into a ratio. 2 miles in 70 minutes. How far will she walk in 110 minutes? How far is going to be my variable, and notice that I'm putting it in the numerator. Miles refers to distance, and so does how far. How far in 110 minutes? So we set up each ratio in the same way, and when we set them equal to each other, that gives us a proportion. We're going to solve the proportion using cross multiplication. So we'll multiply the numerator of one fraction by the denominator of the other. That gives 2 times 110 equals 70 times x. 220 equals 70x, and I'll divide both sides by 70 to solve for x. And in this answer, in this problem, we want to round to the nearest tenth, so we can type this in our calculator. 220 divided by 70 is 3.1, I believe, 4. Okay, but we want to round to the nearest tenth. This is the tenths place. So we look to the digit to the right, and it's a 4. So we're going to round down to 3.1. So Alma will walk 3.1 miles in 110 minutes. In this example, we want to find the x and y-intercepts of the equation negative 3x minus 2y equals negative 18. To find an x-intercept, we want to let y equal 0. That's because an x-intercept is where the graph crosses or touches the x-axis, and the y-coordinate will be 0. I'm going to take my equation and substitute a 0 in for y. That's negative 3x minus 2 times 0 equals negative 18, and solve the equation. We have negative 3x minus 0 equals negative 18. Negative 3x equals negative 18. Divide by negative 3, and x is equal to 6. So this equation has an x-intercept of 6, 0. Now to find the y-intercept, we let x equal 0. A y-intercept is where the graph crosses or touches the y-axis. So the x-coordinate will be 0. So I'm going to substitute 0 in for x. That's 3 times 0 minus 2y equals negative 18. 0 minus 2y equals negative 18. 0 minus 2y is negative 2y. We'll divide both sides by negative 2 to get y equals 9. So this equation has a y-intercept of 0, 9. Thank you for checking out my videos. Have a great day.